everybody. My name is Nir Erez, and I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Moovit. And as you can see, I'm quite an old guy for a startup. It's my third startup company. But when I saw the opportunity at Moovit, I actually immediately jumped on this opportunity. It comes once in a lifetime. So our main vision is to really revolutionize the local mobility within metro areas. So if you look at the way the world divided between drivers, there are about 7 billion people, or almost 8 billion people around the world right now, and only 900 million cars. And you can clearly see the proportion between drivers and people who are not using private cars. When we actually looked on statistical data coming from our users right now, we figured out that public transit is a big part of our lives. People spend a lot of time riding a bus or trains on their way to work or their way back home or to any other place they use public transit with. And the biggest problem they have, or the biggest frustration that they have, is lack of information. How do I get from point A to point B? Even when they go to work, I mean, what's the best way to get to work from the suburbs? It changes every half an hour. What's going to be the estimated time of arrival? Am I going to stand for 40 minutes or I'm going to have an available seats? All these questions just emphasize the level of uncertainty people have when they ride public transit every day. So eventually it looks like this. We all remember ourselves sitting in a bus stop waiting for a bus, not really knowing when exactly it will come. What we have done at Moovit is we took a very unique approach to the problem. We combine data coming from city halls, municipalities, Ministry of Transports, together with data that comes from operators, real-time data, alerts, but most importantly, we took data from the crowd. And combining these multi-sources of information into one repository allows us to provide the most accurate data possible for the users. And we let people know, of course, how to get from point A to point B. We try to provide as much real-time data as we can in every given moment. In some cases, we even allow people to pay for the public transit. And eventually, this is the solution that we provide. But it never ends with public transit. What if we could take a taxi to the main train station and then take the train and another taxi will wait us at the other side? And maybe it can be a car-sharing solution. So Moovit sees itself right now not only as a public transit solution, but as an omni-search. So whenever you leave your house without your private car, go to Moovit and check your options. We made it available for all the different devices that people are carrying with them right now, but in the same time, you know, it's mainly used by smartphones at the time right now. So that's going to be the most sophisticated technical slide I'm going to show you here, but it just emphasizes what our data structure looks like. So the bottom, you see the most rudimentary data layer you need in order to operate multimodal trip plan. So you need to have the timetables, the location of the bus stops or train stations, and together with the map data, you can actually create a multimodal trip plan. But we added another layer, which is a statistical layer. So we collect today a lot of data from our users, and we take this information and we manipulated it statistically, and now we know that bus number 344 here in London reached a specific bus stop in a 4 minutes delay every Friday during rush hour. So why don't we provide this data to our users? The two next layers are real-time layers. One comes from bus GPSs. So every bus manufactured in the last 15 years do carry a GPS, and most of the operators around the world allow us to get this real-time feed. The other one comes from users who are actually on the bus right now. And the fifth layer is what we call soft data layer, which people reports us how many available seats are there on the bus, is it dirty or clean, or all kind of information that other people can use. So today we're the world #1 public transit, and we do have more than 30 million users. We provide a service in 41 languages, 65 countries, more than 800 cities around the world. We provide data of more than 4,500 transit operators, so TfL is one of the 4,500 operators we provide data from. and we generate more than 100 million data points a day. The fact that I'm most proud of is actually based on the way the community is helping us. So we provide, or we open a service in a new city around the world every 24 hours. Every day we add a new city to our service. And the reason why we can do it is because of the community. So when we started and opened our tools to the community 2 years ago, until now, we got more than 700,000 people volunteered to help us. Out of this huge crowd, we qualified about 21,000 people who are really qualified and able to contribute. And these guys are building their own local data. Just think about it. Last week, you had a strike on DLR here in London. The community identified it immediately, and we removed the DLR from the trip plans during the strike. So 2 examples of our cooperation with government. So in Rome, there was a Pope canonization last year. They had to find a way to communicate with a lot of people about changes in the city. So they actually sent 4.7 million targeted push messages through Moovit about changes in public transit during this event that took a few days. All of you probably watched the Soccer World Championship in Brazil. So both in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, in their control room, Moovit was the only one who could provide them information in real time about the situation of the public transportation. So in the last 3.5 years, as I said, I'm an old guy, and this is my 3rd startup, I'm having the blast of my life, touching people, helping so many people for free. It's amazing. So we're growing in a rate of more than 2 million new users a month right now all over the world. And I think we were blessed to raise a lot of money that allows us to grow and develop our service around the world. We raised more than $82 million. I think that in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to completely cover the world mapping of public transportation, which nobody else on Earth have this information. And of course, we're going to probably reach hundreds of millions of users in the next 2 years. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope you install Moovit and try use it in wherever city you are.